to episode number 11 of The Shift with Mike and Joe, featuring Austin Smale of Tiger Lily in Easton. Thanks for coming back, buddy.
Absolutely.
Let's go ahead and get it out of the way. I fucked up the last time you were here. We had a great episode. Mike asked lots of really good questions.
Dude, really good questions. I'm sorry, audience. You're not going to get nearly...
We forgot everything.
We forgot literally everything we talked about. Austin's responses were just like top notch. So we're probably all going to be performing at about 50% today.
That's right.
But, you know.
Use your imagination.
Yeah. But yeah, man, thanks for coming back.
Absolutely, man.
Thanks for not getting mad at me, you know, at least outwardly. You might have cussed me in your head. But
shit happens.
Yeah, it does happen.
He gets it.
I looked at the text and I was like, camera guys. You know, this is what we do.
I know.
Joe.
Fuck stuff up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
Joe on top of that.
Just for, to clear my name, all the cameras were perfect.
Beautiful.
It was the audio which was screwed, but I do have audio. Well, no, I don't actually. Well, sound, image and sound. So yeah, sound covers audio.
Yeah.
Like dub it over. We'll take the new audio and dub it over the old footage.
There you go. I'll change the name of my business to Image and Audio. That actually kind of sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Better, you should.
Anyway, so Austin, you are the owner, operator of Tiger Lily in Easton.
Yes, sir.
It's an awesome spot.
Thank you.
Really cool. How's things going lately?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Since that weather change we got like a month ago, revenue like pretty much doubled overnight. I think it was like the week after I was here last.
Okay.
Not to rub it in, but yeah, things have been going really well.
Well, that's a good thing. So now you can report like great revenue instead of mediocre revenue.
Yeah, it won't be like this the whole time.
Because you guys were getting ready to file for bankruptcy last time. Pretty sure.
Chapter 11.
Yeah, right.
Episode 11, Chapter 11. No, it was a long winter, but we weren't getting ready to file.
Yeah.
So we got the patio open, outdoor bar going, getting some live music booked up a little bit.
Not
Yeah.
you,
Just
Joe.
a little bit.
Not Joe.
Not me.
Not Joe, he's too loud.
Or you.
Not me either.
Booking live music, not you guys.
Not
but
you guys,
I mean,
yeah.
Should we tell that story? I feel like that's worthy of you telling the story about
yeah, we should.
the loudness of your music playing.
Yeah, absolutely. We told the story last time, but nobody's going to see it, so we should tell it again.
No one.
Yeah, so there was, you're probably going to have to correct some of the things that I say, but there was like some kind of like Easton noise ordinance, and they posted the story. What was the story on?
It was WBOC.
It was WBOC.
And you were like the front face of the whole thing.
Yeah, it was like music in Easton, too loud, and then like here's me playing guitar at Tiger Lily.
Singing like a Hootie song or something.
Yeah. Which was ridiculous because it said like the noise ordinance was like they were going to shut off music after what, like 10 p.m.?
Yeah.
But I always played like 6 to 9.
Yeah, it'd be like 6 to 9 or 7 to 10 at the latest.
Yeah. I was usually done an hour before the new noise ordinance, but yet they chose my face to put on.
All right, sorry.
You do have a nice face.
I got to complain about that, by the way, Joe.
Oh, okay.
So after the interview, when she was leaving, she was like, if you guys have any like on-hand footage or pictures you want to use or whatever, I was like, all right. So I'm like, what can I post that is like the most family-friendly act I can find? And I was like, oh, this is perfect. I got Joe. The quality is top notch, and you're front and center for the noise ordinance.
Yeah. No, dude, I think you did tell me that, actually. You admitted that you had like shared that footage with them. What was also like crazy ironic is that I was there just eating lunch and like one random day, and I don't even think I texted you first. I think you just texted it to me.
It to you.
I'm like sitting at Tiger Lily eating lunch, and I'm like, oh, look at this. Austin is texting me. And then it was that story. I was like, that is crazy, man.
Damn it.
Yeah. Anyway, since then, I have been complained about on Ken Island happenings on the Facebook page about being too loud at bridges. So maybe I need to tone it down, man.
It's an ongoing theme.
Turn it up.
Turn it up. What
up.
did you used to say in the podcast where you would get too like worked up? There was a term that you used. You were getting too, I can't remember.
Hyped up.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It was a funny term that you used. You'd be like, am I getting too, not giddy, or I don't know. Maybe
I don't know what you're talking about.
we'll have to watch the other
Never said
episodes.
anything like that.
All right, so
right,
let's get down to the nitty gritty.
Let's get down to the
Go.
Austin.
Yes, sir.
I think this is the question I asked you first last time, but I want to rehear the answer because
Make sure you ask all the questions in the same order.
forgot everything that you said. it was just one of those days. What is a typical day like in the life of Austin Smale as restaurant owner?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Good question. You asked that to Jay Corsi Willis, not Austin.
It's a good question for everyone, all right? Shut up, Joe.
Yeah. Every day is different, especially in my industry, and being the hospitality industry as a whole is kind of a little chaotic, some would say, but especially behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You know, it's like almost putting on a little play. Like to the audience, it looks seamless, or what you hope to be looking seamless, but behind the scenes, it's a little chaotic. So
crunching roaches with your feet.
Yeah. Filing for Chapter 11.
Oh yeah, we talked about Waiting, the movie, and like sprinkling dandruff on the plates.
Luckily,
you guys don't do that.
No, we're clean. Not us.
Right.
But everything always it changes. So I'll start off the day. I try to do a list of like things I have to get done the next day. But however, throughout the day, like there's some fires that arise that you have to put out. So I mean,
metaphorically,
no, we've had no fires, knock on wood.
No literal fires.
That building has had a fire in the past.
You did, yep. That was another thing we talked about. You told us a story about that.
What time do you normally get up, though? Seriously, this is a real question.
7:30.
Okay,
something like that.
And you're like, do you have a routine you do before you go to work?
Yeah, so I'll always go to the gym first. Yeah.
See, this guy, he goes to the gym.
Yeah,
dude, I need to start doing that.
Locked it in. The gym is the thing.
I told
that keeps
Mike
me
a story.
sane.
I won't tell it on the podcast, but I need to go to the gym.
Come on.
Yeah.
So I'll hit the gym first, kind of get my mind right, see what I have on the agenda for the day, you could say. I'll take my son to school, and then I lock in, whether I'm starting to work on some menus. So yesterday, for example, went to the gym, dropped him off. Then we were looking at Mother's Day features we were going to do for Sunday. Then we had to do some photos. We did some menu work as far as like changing beer lists. And then we're getting ready to take the patio up another notch. So I was making some phone calls to find out who could make sun sails for the patio.
Oh, cool.
The little shaded areas and stuff like that. And then in between that, we got new umbrellas delivered. So it's kind of like a little bit of, it's multitasking at its finest. I mean, there's just so much to do in a day.
How do you keep all that stuff organized? Like all your to-do list kind of stuff?
So being fully transparent, that's probably my biggest weakness is organization.
Yeah.
However, I found out like writing everything down in a notepad, it looks a little crazy, but at least I can like some way track it. Because the phone's great, but I think like having it physically right in front of you and being able to keep tabs on it definitely helps me stay a little bit more organized.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that, having that like tangible item in front of you, like physically writing it down.
Yep.
Yeah.
So to answer your question quickly, I would say no day is the same. So I have my starting routine and like end of day routine, which is, just very similar to other people's: cooking dinner, getting everything ready for the next day, putting my son to sleep, things like that. But, from the time I drop him off, pick him up, who knows? Every day is a little bit different. So, but I love that because I don't like the repetition of doing the same thing over and over.
Yeah, I do too, man. I love like what you're talking about. Like I go through my day in a similar way. I mean, obviously I'm not managing a restaurant, but like, a list of things to do. It's not crazy organized, but like just like kind of knocking things out one by one, and like not having the same things to do every single day is one of the best parts about working for yourself.
Absolutely.
So another question I asked you, but I'm going to ask you again, is what inspired you? I'll stop saying that, by the way, Joe. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's okay.
I feel like I don't want Austin to think I forgot the answers to all his questions.
I think he understands. He was here before.
He gets that you
He understands that this is
with the audio.
This is the second time. Yeah.
Okay, I'll try to make it as natural as possible. What inspired you? How did you get into like starting your own restaurant as opposed to just working at a restaurant or doing something completely different, or it's a pretty big move?
Yeah. I honestly got started in the industry at an old folks home in Severna Park, Maryland. I was making like desserts in the back for all sorts of different dietary restrictions.
Oh yeah. Huh.
So some of it, I was like blending up birthday cake and puree and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, tasty.
I don't think you told us that last time.
I know,
I was going to say that's new information.
That's like the very beginning. So at that one point,
next time he comes, he's going to give us the full story.
Some other
so 5 years before, actually.
Right.
No, so Genesis Healthcare was the start of it all in Severna Park.
Cool.
Making desserts and then working the line there. So from that point on, I knew I had some sort of interest in food. Had no idea yet what was going to go on, but I kind of liked the personalities in the place, different things always going on. So from that point on, I think I like hopped out of it for a little. I worked there for like 2.5 years, and then kind of worked some random jobs as any teenager would. And I started cooking for some reason. My dad would always cook growing up, as well as my mom, but I didn't really get into it until like, I guess around like 11 or 12. But at the time I was cooking like a little bit more sophisticated than 11 or 12-year-olds. Whether it was even like panini pasta with red sauce, like, you know, like I was going out to the garden and getting basil cool. and wiping my plate.
My 11-year-old knows how to cook chicken nuggets.
Wiping the plate. Gotta teach him young. My son's cooking now too, a little bit.
Just side note, I would imagine that helps with their like to expand their palate too, because my kid like chicken nuggets, chicken fingers, French fries. That's about it. Yeah,
my son's favorite food is salmon.
That's awesome.
And calamari.
Yeah, my kids love like crazy stuff, like sushi and, you know.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
He's not to sushi yet, and that's definitely from some of that growing up in the restaurant.
My palate was really very narrow when I was a kid, and then like at some point you're like, all right, let me try this other stuff, and then you're like, holy shit, this is great. So I'm assuming that
you got to give them a little bit of wine with it. That's the trick.
Little Zinfandel.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So anyway.
No, you're good. So I started cooking more and more, and then I just was looking for jobs in kitchens, and I had landed upon like a great one. It was Level in Annapolis. It's on West Street there.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, small plates, craft cocktails, and that was like the first time I stepped in a kitchen that was, you know, they do everything top notch. It's under different ownership now, but I think they're still doing a hell of a job. But when I was working there, they instilled things in me that like stick to me to this day. You know, cleaning as you go, wiping behind you, all like the good things that aren't really taught in a lot of kitchens and restaurants, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So from there, I went to Vin 909 in Eastport, another fantastic space. And then I relocated over to the Eastern Shore and kind of just landed on, I started working at Ruby Tuesdays, believe it or not. Bussing.
Really?
Yeah. And at the time, I was just trying to learn as much as I could. So I was like, you know, in like the World Series of bussers, I was racing around to the point where I would have like old women like hand me $10 because they could tell I was taking it seriously.
That's cool, man. Yeah.
And how long ago was that? How long ago were you bussing tables?
That was 2012.
Okay.
2012, 2013. And at the time, a guy, Kevin Loza, who's now my chef actually at Tiger Lily, he was working at Ruby Tuesdays, and he said, hey man, there's this woman taking over this restaurant in St. Michael's. You want to come cook? And I'm thinking in my head, cook? Like, what the hell? Like, I've done some frying and prep work at these other kitchens, and now I'm a busser. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, don't worry, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know. I'm like, all right. So we go down to Foxy's. It was Foxy's at the time.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yep.
Harbor Grill.
Yep, Foxy's Harbor Grill down in St. Michael's. And this is when it was, I don't know if you guys were down there when it originally opened, but it was just like the patio, the outside bar. Okay. And then there was like an upper deck, which was the kitchen. So it was like grill, steamer, a cold side for salads, and then like a place to like assemble everything. So it was like small menu, but really good food. Learned a ton. I think by the end of the season, I was like cooking on the grill compared to these guys who were the ones teaching me. So I was like kind of running the show in some sense. Nice. Because I was just taking on all these hours. From that, I transitioned to Limoncello, also in St. Michael's. I took a serving job. I was kind of realizing, I was like, hey, these guys are making a lot more money than us back here. And so I wanted to get a piece of that action. I like the bartending and the serving aspect, dealing with people. So I go to Limoncello. Again, I've never served. I don't speak Italian, and I sure as hell don't know anything about fine dining. But I was standing there in front of Ivano, the owner of Limoncello, which I think you guys know. My stepbrother referred me to this job. So I'm sitting there telling him, yeah, I've served before. It's all good. And he's like, all right, man, you start tomorrow with your brother. Right. So I'm like, all right, give him a handshake. And sure enough, I was faking it till I was running that place within like a year and some months. So I became the general manager of Limoncello after just starting a serving job there. Probably no business being the GM, but they helped me out a lot, and that was probably like the biggest learning curve.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's got to be a little bit scary. Like anytime you go into something new, and like going from you were cooking and then went to serving. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I had no idea like I remember I was asking my girlfriend at the time, like, as I'm getting dropped off for my shift, I was like, what do I say when I walk up to the table?
Hi, my name is Austin.
Go back to the notepad.
Walk up. Hi.
If they don't look happy.
Right. What's a go-to? Now,
my spiel now, like if I'm going to a table or something, like, how we doing, guys? And my first thing I'm always ask, have we been here before? Yes or no. So it's, welcome back, or, oh no, you haven't. Well, just to give you a little rundown of the menu, like it's a taco driven menu, but there are a lot of other tasty bites on there, some fusion, some original, same promise with our bar program. So fresh juices, some fusion on there, as well as some original classic cocktails. Plenty of stuff to look over. So I'll give you guys some time. I'm gonna grab some water and I'll be right back.
Heck yeah, man.
What does that mean, fusion? What do you mean by that?
Fusion is, like everything, especially in America right now, is pretty much fusion.
Like of multiple, like Tex-Mex is a fusion?
Yeah,
Okay.
Absolutely. So I guess ours would be, not I guess, but it's Southeast Asian and kind of like South American influence. Like tiki bar meets tacos and tequila, kind of.
Right.
So
you guys do have some banging tacos.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
And that smash burger is awesome.
That's, I think, the top seller. That or the birria tacos.
Oh, I haven't had those at your
those are
Tiger
phenomenal.
Lily.
Yeah.
I've had them at another spot, and they were for the first time, and they were really good. I'll definitely have to try them there.
What do you think of the disparity between like what servers make and what the kitchen staff makes? And do you have anything in place at Tiger Lily to like bridge that? Because
I got lots of thoughts on that. That's a great question.
Because they do work. Like I remember I got a job at the Crab Deck, and I was a dishwasher for one day, and I was like, this sucks. Like my brother was bussing tables, and he was coming in with like $100, and I was coming in with like $40, and I felt like I was working way harder than him, or at least sweating way worse than him. And I was like, I just went to Mary Lee, and I was like, hey, look, I sweat a lot, but if you put me out here busting tables,
I promise not to sweat.
I'll wear deodorant to work at least. And
I got a funny story.
I'll bring a handkerchief with me.
But no, I mean, and thankfully I got to do busing, and it was like very nice there because they tip you. The busters get tipped percentage of sales and all that stuff. But yeah, what do you think about that?
I would say for my situation, Tiger Lily, I mean, my back of house staff, like cooks, chefs, and all that, they're paid very well. And I'm not just saying that because I'm on your guys' wonderful podcast.
Right.
So they are well compensated.
They're all watching this like, what the fuck?
He's fucking lying.
$2.99, bro.
Hey, Austin, I saw on that podcast, you said we were paid well. What's up?
No.
So I think for our concept, it is pretty close. But we do have those days, especially Friday and Saturdays, where these servers are cranking out and making some serious money. However, I feel like it kind of bounces out throughout the week, and again with them being at like paid appropriately, because I have like high expectations for these guys, and they do bring the heat. I would say we've got some of the best food in Talbot County, if not on this side of the bridge. But through talking with mentors and other people in the industry, I think when you get into like a busier, like if you were in the city, for example, or something, the servers are bringing in $500 or $600 in like a 4 or 5 hour shift.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I think there's a way there's a way, like you got to tweak your tip out structure a little bit. So at that point, I think like the back of house does need to be, whether it's tipped out or it's a percentage of like net sales or something, there's got to be some sort of incentive to make them want to go further. Like you said, once you realized, hey, dishwashing, I'm getting the short end of the stick, you're now figuring out how to move to the next spot. So to keep people happy and even flow, I think a tip out structure or some sort of profit sharing definitely helps. It doesn't have to be huge amounts of money, but
something that like the busier it gets, the more money I make type of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, which I'm starting to roll into my restaurant, is like, okay, so on top of the service tip out or percentage, on top of that, you have to watch your food cost. If you hit this percentage for this quarter or this month, you get X amount of money. So, and then you just literally plug it into a spreadsheet, and you can say, hey, okay, so net profit of that month was $12,000 of your percentage. It breaks into the net profit, and here's your piece, here's my piece. and then that's going back to the bank. Whatever, you can tweak it as much as you want, but I think it's necessary, especially in today's day and age.
Yeah. So I don't know if this is what you meant by that question, but like, because you used the word disparity. I don't know if that's the right word to use or not.
I'm sure it is. If I used it, it's probably the right word.
Yeah. Well,
It's got to be right.
Yeah.
fair enough. Servers aren't paid a lot.
No.
Right, from the restaurant. And I'm not going to ask you what you pay your servers,
No,
but
we can break it down.
I've always thought, like, I know that this is kind of a polarizing topic because some people think like tipping a server is like you should do it no matter what, right? And me personally, you've seen Pulp Fiction,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
So you know the scene where they're talking about tipping servers,
Yeah.
right? What's the guy's name? The guy that has the opinion that you should only tip servers if they do a really good job. Steve
That's an
Buscemi
all-star
or
cast.
something?
Yeah, Buscemi.
Yeah, him, Buscemi.
Yeah.
That guy. He explains it, and when I heard that, I'm like, yes, I agree with that. Like, you should not be expected to tip a server. Only should they receive a tip if their service is above average, like if they go above and beyond. And you know, the quality of service that you get from a server varies greatly, you know, compared to where you're at. So,
and it plays into the experience. Like there's a difference between and I completely agree. There's a difference between, hey, here's your cheeseburger, enjoy. Where it's like, oh man, have you had one of these double bacon cheeseburgers yet from us? This is the most popular thing. You're gonna really enjoy it. I'm gonna be back and check on you, see how you enjoy it.
Right.
And that's like the dude dropping off the food. That's not even the server. That's like the guy that's just running the food. Just, you know, that makes a big difference. It's like, wow, these people care. Whereas,
yeah,
here you go, man.
It does. And like that spiel that you just said, like that was very informative and like welcoming. And it, you know, if I'm just like, when you were giving that spiel, I'm like thinking, like imagining sitting at a table and you come up and you tell me this, you know, that spiel. And I'm like, okay, like he's, you know, yes, it's probably all memorized and he probably said the same thing to that other table over there.
I changed it up a little bit.
But I mean, it's a friendly tone of voice. You know, do you use like different accents at different tables?
Yeah. How we doing?
I don't know, man. I just always thought that the whole tipping compared to what servers are paid, I felt like they should be paid more.
Yeah.
So that tipping is not just expected. And I don't know. What do you think about that?
That's how the tipping everywhere you go is getting too excessive. Like Starbucks. Like it's a multi-billion-dollar company. If you don't have enough money to take care of your staff, like that's a bigger issue compared to like a small business where it's like when you're trying to get your feet off the ground, it's a little bit more difficult.
Well, that's true, yeah.
However, so I've only worked, operated, and owned restaurants where it's kind of been the tip-out structure we're talking about, but in bigger cities and like the West Coast, they're, you know, high minimum wage. Like their servers make $17 or $20 an hour.
Right.
And I don't, for the life of me, understand how it works. I haven't really looked into it, but I know personally, like if all of a sudden I had to pay all of my servers like $20 an hour on top of rising food costs and my labor, like I'm sure I'd be able to figure it out, but it definitely makes the margins even tighter on an industry where it's like every penny counts. So
yeah. But like eventually it would even out, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, we all know that that's not going to happen because it's been this way forever.
Right.
But I wonder, like, why is it that way? Like, when did that start?
Yeah.
When did they decide we're not going to pay our servers only $5 an hour because people tip? Like, when did that become a normal thing?
Yeah.
You know?
And it's...
No, I'm asking you when exactly.
We expect you to know the history.
Yeah, 1958. No, I mean that's a good question. I don't have the answer to that, but it's always been like that. Like I said, from the time I've been in it.
Yeah,
but it's not. I think I remember. Was it you that said last time? It's not like that in Europe. Right?
No, it's
the opposite.
Yeah,
it's
like you're not expected to because it's already included. Mm-hmm. So maybe that you might have just given me a little assignment to see how that works. But then, on the contrary, the thing that I've always worried about in the past is like, okay, you have Brittany who's worked this way her whole life and is used to making, you know, $500, on a Saturday, she might not care about the rest of the week when she only made like $100, but in her head, she's so focused on that. Hey, I make $500 every Saturday. And then you take them and be like, hey, I'm going to pay you this hourly rate, but you're not going to get your tips. I don't know how she would be.
Oh, it would be a huge hit for everyone until it leveled out.
And even if it works out the math, like you go to them and it's like, hey, on that Monday through Wednesday when you're making nothing, you're gonna make $175, but still, I think everyone, they like that. It's almost like a rush.
Yeah, exactly.
$500 at the end of the shift. Hell yeah, let's go.
Right.
Yeah, and it's
cash money.
It's it's like a gambling thing. It's like anything could happen, right?
Yeah.
Like when I show up to work tonight, anything could happen. I could get a $200 tip. I could get a, it's like there's that, like you said, that rush of like what
could happen. Yeah. And they'd rather roll the dice, I would say.
I totally understand that, and I think you're very, very right that a lot of servers are like, they get that huge rush from getting tipped, and then that's what kind of keeps them in that industry and keeps that
ball rolling
or cycle going or whatever.
100%.
But you touched on the thing with like Starbucks, and that kind of stuff is ridiculous, man. Like I went to new sub shop, Jersey Mike's. I went there yesterday.
Shout out Jersey Mike's.
It was mediocre, by the way.
Oh, fuck.
My dad was like raving about it, and I'm like, all right, well, let me try it out. And I was like, okay, great. It was a cheesesteak. But anyway, you go to pay for your food, and they spin the thing around, and it's like, how much tip do you want to give? And I'm like, fucking tip? What did you do?
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know the right word to describe that, but it seems so like it's like the audacity of it.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you are not only are you asking for a tip without formally asking for a tip, you're watching me decide it, so it makes the person feel like, well, I don't know how other people feel, but like it makes me mad, and then it also makes me like anxious, because I'm like, are they going to spit in my food when they see me click no tip? Are they going to
think you're a bad person?
Well, I don't care if they think I'm a bad person. Are they going to do something to my food? Are they not going to give me a straw because I didn't tip them? And
I completely agree. You made the sub. That's a part of the job. That's what you're already getting paid for.
You're not bringing it to my table. You're not getting me extra water.
It's on purpose too, to make you feel that way. 100%.
I don't doubt it. Yeah.
The put it in front of you.
Yeah, and then they're like sitting there and looking at you almost like it's Starbucks. You're like looking away. It's like,
I mean, it's really a genius marketing strategy, really, because you got people behind you, so you're forced to make this quick decision, and it's a completely emotional decision.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that is really, it's genius, but it's also infuriating.
It's a little messed up.
Yeah. I wonder how much of that is just like who, the corporation isn't. I mean, what's their incentive? I guess their incentive is their employees are happier if they're making tips on top of the money that they're already making. They're not paying them less because of that. Right?
Well, I don't know. I can't say for sure, because I'm wondering if there's like some stipulation. It's like if they're getting credit card tips, like I don't think this would be true. But what happens if like these allocated tips like take away from the hourly, offsets it.
It might, but
that's what happens with servers.
Right.
Well, the other question that I have is like, when it asks you for a tip on that iPad, is it asking you for a tip for you that's standing behind it?
Right. Who's getting the tip?
For that person that made my sub, or for Jersey Mike's? You know what I mean? Right? It could just be Jersey Mike's that's getting the tip. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows how they break that up? But I don't know, Mike. We need to figure out a way to force people to make an emotional decision quickly in the moment to like and follow, the Shift with Mike and Joe, to hire us to play music. You know what I mean?
To tip us
after a guitar lesson, just pull out a tablet. Look away.
Like back them into the corner. You're going to make this decision 20, right 50, now.
100%.
And everyone is looking at you, and everyone's going to think you're a terrible person if you don't tip me.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. We went through that at Bark Barbecue, and you tipped them, and I didn't.
Yeah,
and my food was better.
Was it?
I think they were trying to impress me. They were like, this guy didn't like us.
It's time to shine.
It could be. I mean, yeah, it could be a whole
like that
reverse
server
psychology
that
thing.
you know, like I know I've gotten taken in by that server that kind of like half-assed it, and I'm like, I want this person to like me. I'm gonna tip them a lot.
Yeah, yeah. I hear you.
Yeah.
I feel like this conversation is already better than the first time.
100%.
It's really going well.
I don't think
Mike's
so at
half
all.
awake, but it's
So you something else?
I am struggling.
Yeah, yeah. He did tell you to punch him. You know, which you haven't done yet. So
gotta wait for the film to start rolling.
you should probably do it when he's not paying attention. That'll really wake him up. You know. You touched on the patio thing, and you were talking about like ordering umbrellas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I would assume that like that patio, especially in the summertime, is one of your best like money makers and worth the investment and that kind of thing.
Yeah, 100%. The patio, like I said earlier in the conversation, it like literally doubles the revenue.
Yeah.
As soon as that sun comes out, people are out there. It's an awesome vibe. Got the palm trees and stuff.
Couches.
Lounge chairs, yeah. And now I'm just trying to figure out how to take it up a level higher. So get some additional shading in there, because once that heat comes in the summer, it's like almost unbearable. So we're gonna get some sun sails up, maybe some coverings on the sides, some fans going, and then exploring the possibility of in the fall maybe some sort of temporary enclosure or adding on and enclosing that like front side of the patio.
You mentioned Bark Barbecue. It is pretty much permanent, but they have this. You know what we're talking about?
Yeah, I haven't
Ever been
been. I haven't seen it yet.
It's like
I've heard great things about their barbecue though.
The food is freaking awesome. Yeah, the brisket and the pulled pork is kind of mediocre, but the brisket
Top
notch, bro.
All right. I'll check them out.
They have this like, it's kind of weird because it's like in the parking lot. It's not like a patio.
Okay.
But in the front of the business front, they have this. I mean, it's really kind of like a permanent structure, but it's not.
I think it used to be open air, and now it's enclosed.
Isn't it kind of like where they have the windows and they can open them up and down?
Okay.
Yeah, but it's
so I
like,
want to do something like that.
it's made of wood, and it's like plexiglass windows, I think. And then they have like a sliding door. So like in the wintertime, they can close it, and it's definitely like warm in there,
Right.
when it's cold outside. But
See, I need to do something like that.
it's almost a little bit too permanent, but it kind of, I don't know. When you were talking about that, it made me think.
Have you guys been on to Ava's in St. Michael's at all?
No.
They have this like back patio, and it's like a retractable roof, so it's like you're inside enclosed, but you can pull it back. So
that's
you get the garden vibe when it's a nice day out. So
Yeah.
possibly something like that.
I mean, people love sitting outside when it's nice out. You
Damn
know what I
right.
mean?
So does the revenue increase or double because you have extra seating, or is it because more people come to the restaurant? Like if you
Wouldn't
could
that be the same thing?
No,
Not
because
necessarily, no.
In the winter, it's like you lose that seating. So maybe there's like, if that seating was available, it would be double, right? I mean, isn't that what you're saying?
But you're absolutely right. It was the fact of it's more of an attraction. It's like, oh, we can go sit on the outside bar or the patio at Tiger Lily. It's like our inside dining room for a grassroots operation, not too shabby. However, I'm not oblivious to the fact that we need to develop on it a little bit more. I have this joke that it's like a glorified chow hall. I might be like being a little hard on myself,
Right.
but I need to facilitate a little bit of more of the Tiger Lily vibe in the dining room.
Okay.
So that the patio and the outside bar, definitely a big attraction.
I will admit that I've been to Tiger Lily a bunch of times, and I have never eaten inside. Never.
Yeah. So capitalizing on that outside environment for this season, and then figuring out how to navigate through the fall and winter, because it is a little tough with that inside area.
Making it like cool, like in the fall, for example, having like fire pits or something like cool. That's like, oh, we're gonna get to eat outside, and it's gonna be nice, and it's gonna be different.
100%. Yeah, giving it a little bit more vibe, and we're gonna do like a garden like throughout the tables before you've been there. It was kind of like a blacktop with some nice tables, umbrellas, but all the greenery was like around it. Where I just had like a eureka moment the other day. I'm like, what am I doing? I should just put some greenery like in between the tables. You'll see. You'll see. Just a little,
There's this place in Pocomoke City that has like these little igloos. Do you know what I'm talking about? That place.
Yep.
Yeah.
So when it starts getting cold out, they can like sit outside.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they
like
light
zip you
some
up in
music
there.
out there. Yeah. It's pretty cool. And then there was a place in DC I played that had little like it was like little tents, I guess, like little. So it was like a safari themed place. I can't remember what it was called, and they had like these cool like tents all set up with different themes inside and stuff. It was neat. It was like I would,
And they make a nice little coin off. I'm sure they're expensive too to like have or facilitate, but it's like a perk. It's like you want to sit outside in the middle of January. It's like it's going to cost you an extra $50 or $100 to get the igloo.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's one thing like when
Totally worth it though, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's cool, man.
that kind of
It's like-
stuff is really cool. It's a huge
what a cool
attraction.
story.
I'm a foodie for sure. I love good food, but like let's say there were two places right next door to each other, and like this place had top-notch food but no outdoor seating, and it's a nice day, and then the place next door had food that was not quite as good, but they had like awesome outdoor seating. I would probably choose the second place if it was it was a really nice day.
Yeah.
But if they have both, like
Win-win.
Win-win for sure.
I completely agree. I'm about the vibes and the service. And sorry, to back up a little bit, you were asking me how did I end up getting to Tiger Lily. So we stopped at being the GM of Limoncello.
Oh, yeah.
I cut myself short on that.
Yeah.
I think we cut you off.
He needs to be the host. He's better.
I was thinking, wait,
It's
how
like,
did we get to Tiger
Let's
Lily?
get back on track, guys.
No, you're good. So I was the GM of Limoncello there for a while. And then I got the opportunity from Chris Agarabi. He's a gentleman that owns Ava's and Theo's, and he's done a couple other different concepts. And so he took me under his wing at Ava's in St. Michael's. And this is when I started to learn more about like the business side of things, like the behind the scenes, the numbers, prime costs, things like that. Whereas like Limoncello was more of like learning the front of house, the hospitality side of things, the ins and outs of service. So worked there for a little bit, ended up taking over the bar management position. And then I got the opportunity from Ivano and some other friends, Gennaro, Billy Gordon. They were opening a place up in Easton, and they wanted me to run it, which is the same building I was at right now. It was called Taste. It was very short-lived. It's right when times were getting hard, COVID, yada, yada. For whatever reason, it didn't end up working out. And we had a closing party that day. And the gentleman who owned the building, Kay, he came over to me as I was leaving and was like, would you ever consider doing something here of your own? And at the time, I thought he was just being nice because, probably down in the dumps. Close it. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I would love to, man, thinking like, whatever. So we exchanged contact information, and sure enough, like 2 or 3 weeks goes by and my phone starts ringing. And he's like, hey, do you want to talk about that restaurant of yours you want to do? And I was like, oh shit, all right, let's go. So I met up with him. I didn't even really know the guy, just from I would hand him like rent checks every month. That's like the only way we had any interaction for the most part. So start getting the ball rolling, hired some people. We kind of planned to do a turnkey operation. So essentially like slap some paint up, change the name, change the look a little bit, but reopened pretty quickly. And COVID came along and kind of shelved the plan, which thank God it did, because it would have been a mistake in my eyes for the business. Like it was going to be something that Easton didn't need.
Right.
So, and we were like rushing the name. It was going to be terrible. So he sends me home. He was kind of like ahead of this whole COVID thing too. He saw it coming down the pipeline like a few weeks before. So he's like, hey man, I think it was like March 17th to be exact or something like that. He's like, hey, we got to put this on the shelf, take whatever beer and wine you went home, like to take home, whatever beer and wine, because we're not going to like use it anytime soon. Just take it home and I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah,
so,
for COVID, that was probably a good move.
Oh, it was awesome. So I had like 2 cases of like wine and spirits. He's like, no. He's like, I don't think you understand. Like, take whatever you want. Like, I don't know how long this is going to last, whatever.
Right.
So I'm going home. I'm taking like 6 full kegs and putting it in like my back seat. I had cases of tequila, all sorts of stuff. So we had a nice party during COVID, needless to say. Yeah. Then things start chilling out. We get back to work. We figure out we're going to call it, let me back up. I find a chef finally, because the existing staff I was working with, we were all at different angles and things anyway. So it kind of was a break from the staffing point as well. So I find this guy, Tyler Heim, super talented guy. And he helped me open it. We came across the name Tiger Lily, which is the name of a classic tiki cocktail. And it kind of made sense because the guy who was investing in the whole operation was from Southeast Asia, where the Tiger Lily flower is popular. So it kind of made sense for the story and the concept. And then we just hit the ground running. And
what year was that?
That was right
after
COVID? 3.5 years, yes, 2022, October 21st, 2022.
Oh, okay. So not right after COVID. Well, I guess COVID was kind of a thing still.
Yeah, it was, but
Not that it's not still a thing, but
And then like it still took us like 6 to 7 months.
It's not a thing.
no. Well, I feel like there were still like some kind of like mask ordinances at that time.
I can't. It was so long. I think it was starting to ease up, but yeah.
God, I hated that mask so much.
Yeah.
Ugh.
During COVID, I was doing all sorts of crazy shit too. Like we did a pop-up ramen shop out of Theo's down in Cambridge with the guy Chris. I was making the ramen noodles in the back from scratch. And then we ended up doing this whole thing. What else did I do? I was doing photos for Limoncello and Amalfi Coast here, as well as working on my other operations. So
yeah,
it was. I was well compensated during COVID.
That's awesome, man. Dude, it sounds like there's like there were a lot of like rungs in your ladder to get to where you're at now. Like a lot of different steps that you took.
Yeah. And a lot of people, like, you know, in hospitality, you get the reputation or the bartender or the server that like bounces around all the restaurants and stuff. I feel like in some sense I was bouncing around, but like for the right reason. Like every little stop along the way kind of made sense. And I didn't necessarily, I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I burned any bridges along the way. So,
well, if you did, you didn't tell us about them.
That's right. Yeah. Drop in the comments if I burned the bridge.
And also, if you're a cook and you feel like you're not paid well,
drop that in the comments as well. We'll get that fixed.
We'll delete that one first. So, did you? That's basically the end of the story.
Yeah,
of how you got.
That's
I didn't want to cut you off again.
No,
I did want to backtrack though, because Mike asked you about like what's a day in the life of you right now, and you mentioned going to the gym, and I was telling Mike before the podcast started, I talk about going. I need to go to the gym all the damn time, but I need some more inspiration. So like, imagine your day was exactly the same as it is now, minus the gym. How much do you think that routine of going to the gym like helps you? Like, how much does it benefit you?
Tremendously.
Yeah.
For me personally,
say that.
I had a addiction in the past as well, so like it's a mental thing as well as like a routine thing. It's like keeps me sane, but also keeps me in check with my demons of the past. So. It's like I got to make time for it. But I will be honest, I didn't go this morning. So, but I think my day's off to a pretty solid start so far.
Yeah, okay.
And I might go this afternoon, so we'll see.
How many days a week do you normally go?
I try to go at least 5.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
And if and when I do fall off, I've found like if you hit 2 or 3 days in a row, even if you feel like absolute shit, like once you get to that 3rd day, it's almost like locked in and you start feeling a little lighter and you're like, oh, I want to go back for that feeling. So,
right.
But it's not always easy.
No, it's not.
But there's like, if I don't hit the gym on like a whole week, I can definitely tell I'm out of sync.
I can completely like get on board with the idea that like just going to the gym, you know, it just helps you like on so many levels and with productivity and getting things done, which is the same thing. Right, productivity and getting things done.
Dude,
same thing.
So there's a little bit of backstory here. I go to church on Saturday mornings, and we have ping pong after church. We play ping pong. We're pretty serious about it.
Ping pong's fun.
I love ping pong, and so Saturday morning also there's a jiu-jitsu class that I go to sometimes. So I always go during the week, but Saturday morning sometimes I'll go to jiu-jitsu. And the days that I go to jiu-jitsu class on Saturday,
you're better at ping pong,
dude. I kill at ping pong.
You're even keel.
I'm unstoppable. And the days that I don't, it could go either way. But generally speaking, there's this one guy that always beats me. Not when I do jiu-jitsu.
But not when you do jiu-jitsu.
No, it's like everything's in slow motion.
That's wild.
For the rest of the day.
Yeah. All right. Well,
hey, put in the comments if you're the guy that beats Mike in ping pong. Drop the comment below.
His name's Charlie.
When I was a kid, I was on vacation with like a family vacation. I think I was like 12 or something, and it was like raining one day, so we went downstairs to like the game room, you know, area, and there was a ping pong table. My grandfather was there. He was like, I don't know, 70 or something like that, and he's like, this is my mom's father, and he's like, you want to play ping pong? I'm like, all right, yeah, come on, old man, like I'll whoop you. And I had like probably been playing a little ping pong in like gym class or something, you know, so I like thought I was good. Dude,
destroys you.
He fucking smoked me, and I was like, "What is going on
He's
here?"
like holding the paddle, like not on the handle, but like up top.
I don't remember. I just remember like he hit the ball, and it was like some kind of crazy curve, and like hit the table and bounced off in the other direction.
It's like Tom Hanks. And
he was like, "You didn't know I was the ping pong champion of Kent Island, did you? And I'm like, whatever, man. He's like, no, I'm serious. There was like a ping pong championship, and he was like the champion of Kent Island. Yeah, it was wild.
That's awesome.
Yep. That had nothing to do with anything other than it was a funny story.
Cool. That's so good.
Yeah, man. What other ChatGPT questions you got today, Mike?
These are not ChatGPT questions. I'm actually, what I was looking at my phone for right now is somebody needs Joe to play at Bridges tonight.
Oh, yeah.
We
Popped
had a
up on my phone.
cancellation,
There you go.
I'm at Kentmore tonight. So.
Yeah, I'm at Courthouse tonight. I'd rather play at Bridges. I mean, did I say that?
Oh, I'm with you.
No,
there.
I love Poorhouse, actually. I just get usually good tips.
Yeah, the tips at Bridges are usually pretty good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But no, a question that I do have for you, and I do already know the answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway, is what do you, like your hiring process? That always interests me. Like, you know, when people come in, do you solicit, do you put out ads like we need cooks, we need this, or do people just come in and you filled those spots that way? And when they do come in, what do you look for and all that kind of stuff? Can you describe that?
Yeah, absolutely. At the beginning, and I would say up until last year, it was kind of just seeking out certain people, especially when we were starting. And then we would let, you know, it was just like if you guys were looking for a job, you like Tiger, like, hey, you guys hiring? So we just have people come through the door. More recently, I've started hitting Indeed. You do get like a wider hiring pool, but the way we like target the ad, we kind of make it so we kind of sort through some of the BS beforehand. And what I mean by that is like talking to your audience or these future employees, like without the rose tinted fantasy. It's like, hey, it's going to be long hours. There's going to be some weekends where you don't want to show up and you got something going on, but I need you to bring 100%. I need some creativity out of you. If you're a know-it-all, don't even worry about filling this out. Like, so it kind of like, oh, these guys kind of take this seriously. Then, you know,
So Indeed, are you describe Indeed to me? Because maybe I don't really understand.
Yeah. So Indeed is just like the job. I'm trying to think like Craigslist back in the day, essentially. So it's just a website for employers and employees. So you can put up an ad like looking for a bartender. You can decide if you want to put Tiger Lily on there or not. It'll just say like business in Easton, Maryland. Okay. And then you put up a hiring ad. And then as like someone sending you a friend request on Facebook, you know, you get all these applications coming in, you kind of sort through them a little bit.
And so at what point are you able to say to them, if you're a know-it-all, don't hire, don't.
Oh, that says it literally on the application.
On the application, okay, the initial thing, okay.
And then you can normally tell, especially, God forbid you end up bringing them on the team, you can tell within a few shifts, like if you're going to have a stubborn bartender or someone that's not going to listen. Like we measure everything out for our cocktails, so it's the same way every time. And like for some reason, especially in this area, it's like so many people are against that. They're like, I want a free pour. But you're at a dock bar or like a dive bar, cool. Like I understand. But like when you're working with 3 different ingredients at different proportions, you're not going to, people can get it right, but not your average bartender. So things like that you can pick up on pretty quickly.
When you say like I want a free, you mean that they are saying that they want to just like do it how they want it instead of like following a recipe.
Yeah, they're like, it's almost like looked down upon for like a seasoned dock bar bartender, for example. If they came to work at Tiger Lily and I'm like, hey, we measure everything out using Japanese style jiggers, so it's 2 ounce on one side and 1 ounce on the other. They're like, you can tell immediately. They're either like, all right, cool, or they'll be like, oh. So that's one thing I look for. But so from that initial hiring phase, I love people. I'm a big people person, communication, yada yada. So I can get a good reading of kind of how they're presenting themselves, the way they're talking, eye contact, and just like a general vibe as well. Yeah. Sometimes I like to even say I can like tell about their past. Not that I can, but I'll be like, you know, you kind of can like weigh some things out.
Where did your uncle touch you?
Yeah, exactly. Talk to me.
Where did your uncle touch you?
So do you have people that come in and they're like, I want to be
I was going to say, you were born in Michigan, weren't you, Mike? Where'd your uncle touch you?
I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm sorry if that was an insensitive thing to say. I shouldn't have said that.
Oh, man. I know what you mean. It brings the viewers back, though, Mike. They love it.
It's terrible. I gotta shout
out my cousin Brittany real quick because I was talking to her the other night, about the podcast, and the one thing she says is Mike is so funny. Like, not I love your podcast, Joe. You know, it's a great podcast. You do a great job. She said Mike is so funny.
Looking. Yeah.
And I had to agree.
Yeah, thanks. When I look back, when I watch the podcast back, I'm like, oh man,
Like,
shouldn't have said that.
cringing. Like, why did I say that?
The impulsivity is just, you know, I'm really, and that's me trying to rein it in too. That's the worst part is I'm not saying half the things that I'm thinking.
Well, you said before we started
natural.
the cameras, you said retard like 3 times.
No, I didn't.
Before Austin
No, I
even got here.
didn't.
He was
I
yelling
said,
at you again.
hold on. In all fairness, I was talking about the risks of having a baby.
Yes.
And
yes.
that it's, maybe I could have said it nicer, but like that, you know,
you said
you
that
could
the
have
baby
a retarded
could be,
baby.
could be born retarded.
It's risky
There's a
having a
chance.
baby. You never know. Baby.
Which is not really.
I wasn't saying it in
No, and that's not like a. I don't think that that's a politically incorrect. It might be slightly
is.
insensitive, but I mean,
Just
it's
saying
still
what's on your mind.
accurate.
It's,
you know.
I mean, you know, it's a musical term, retardendo.
Yep.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
But anyway, how often do you have people come in and they're like, I want to be a bartender, and you're like, yeah, you're probably more suited
How
to
often
like
do you have
the
retarded
kitchen,
people?
or you're more suited to the, or maybe they come in and they like, I want to clean dishes, and you're like, you'd be a great server. Like, does that happen?
Yeah, every once in a blue moon, but to be quite honest, like the person that is in the kitchen that always. Let me think about this before I say. No,
I'm like laughing from that conversation.
No, you're good.
Can't stop.
So if they like start out in the back of the house and they have like an eagerness to become a bartender, it's you that like it usually happens either when they're like too established in the kitchen now. It's like I'm not going to pull you from something you're doing so good at, and can still excel and go further, or they're just like not of the caliber. It's like, or like you barely talk. This is like an example, but it's like Tom works on the prep side in the kitchen, and Tom's talking about being a bartender because he likes his raspberry lemonades or something. But it's like, Tom, you don't even talk to people. Like you're not going to make it.
Right. Right.
So it does happen sometimes. Rare though. I think I've done it in the 3.5 years we've been open. I think I've had like 2 or 3 people that I would call like swing that go like front of house, back of house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But it does happen in other restaurants. I just haven't found much success with it personally.
I mean, I've never worked in a restaurant, but it does seem like most of the time it's kind of like 2 separate types of people.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You see the kitchen staff like come out to smoke a cigarette and you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
That guy's
That's a kitchen guy.
You're not showing him off in the front.
Right.
You know? You stay back there.
You get to see all your cooks at Tiger Lily. We got that open kitchen concept.
right,
So
right, yeah.
I'm on those guys all the time.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
I go to, you know, play at gigs or something. And I'm like loading my stuff in, and like the kitchen staff comes out back to smoke a cigarette. And they obviously have kitchen clothes on, but you're like, it's like hair's off, you know, fucking scraggly and shit, and unshaven, and they're smoking cigarettes and like, hey, what's up, man? They're stoned as shit usually.
Joe Bryan's back. He's loud as shit.
Yeah, he's loud as shit.
I heard you from the.
I heard you from the back kitchen.
And we had Metallica blaring back there.
But they did get that right on that. Speaking of waiting, they did get that part right. You know.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, I'm
It's like
sure.
The front of house staff is like, and the back of house is like, whoa.
Where the one waitress,
For the most part,
she's like, man, fuck these fucking people. Hey, how are you
Yeah.
today?
I've worked with a couple of those.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
So how do you do you guys wear? These are two separate questions. What do you have? You have a uniform for the people for your staff there, or what's that?
I've been a little loose on that, so I just addressed that like last week, and we are going to we got staff shirts, but I am a little loose on that. You know, jeans, black pants, dark colored shoes, like closed toe shoes, obviously. But for a little while there, I was like letting people wear like tiki shirts like this, which I probably still like for bartenders on the weekends and stuff like that. But it was like a little too free range, and I was like, I need my people to be noticeable.
Yeah.
You know? So I just ordered a bunch of Tiger Lily merch. Come check it out.
I like that
Nice.
hat, by the way. It's
Thank
nice.
you.
Yeah,
This was a prototype, actually.
it's cool.
Yeah, the logo is cool. You know, I mean, it's a Tiger Lily, but
Yeah.
you know, the font and it all goes well together.
Yeah, a good buddy of ours did all the design for Tiger Lily.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Not you, Joe. How do you Sorry,
I'm not a great designer. I'm really not.
I know, dude. When
This
you
was
try
years
to
ago.
do
It's
it-
before I knew you, Joe. All right?
Fair enough.
Promise.
How do you incorporate or how do you solicit, if you do, and incorporate like feedback from customers? Like, do you have like a complaint box or a suggestion box or I'm sure you probably go on Easton happenings and you take all of that to heart, like whatever I said on there.
Keeps me
fiercely defend your establishment on
Easton
social
happenings
media.
keeps me in check. I'll put it that way. When I start feeling good about myself, I just go on Easton happenings.
You're like, nope.
Do better. Sorry, continue.
So how do you solicit feedback from your customers, and if whether you solicit it or not, I'm sure you get it. How do you incorporate it? How does it affect what you do?
So I've definitely, of course, we have like review sites like every restaurant, Google, and Facebook, and you can go down the line with all those. But in-house, getting feedback from the customer is super important, as we all know. So we'll keep it pretty straightforward. It's a 1 through 10 for, how was your experience? And then the next one is 1 through 10. How likely are you to tell a friend about it? And then you kind of keep the third one like open-ended. It's like, how do we become your favorite bar or restaurant? Which sounds like those two questions sound like super basic, but you're just getting down to the nitty-gritty. You're skipping all the filler. It's like, hey, did you enjoy yourself? And would you tell yourself or a friend or your family member to come check us out? And, if it's not that 8 through 10, we consider like a raving fan. That 5 to 7, it's like, it's decent, but something obviously rubbed them the wrong way. Anything below that is just like they're probably just being nice.
Is there a why for like? No, just the number.
And then of course you sometimes
kind of give them the chance to answer that at the last question.
Yeah, so it's like work on service or better servers, And we collect that information through a QR code. We just started this within the last 6 months. So when you get your bill at the end, it's this in the little check presenter. There's a nice Tigerly themed paper with a QR code. And it's like, tell us how we're doing. And it brings you to a Google form to do those 3 things.
I think I asked you this question last time after you told the story. How many people do you think, what's the percentage of people that actually do that?
It's small. It's small. So I need to incentivize them to fill it out. So, or put it in a better place. So, at the host stand, in the bathroom, stuff like that, when you're walking out, maybe a little QR code. If you had such a great time or such a terrible time, you're going to be more inclined to tell us when you see that in your face. Or like Half Price app, when you fill the QR code survey out at the end.
That would make me do it.
Right.
Me too.
Right.
I'd be more likely to do it if I get something out of it.
Damn right.
I'll give you all 10s if you give me half price off.
Kind of cheating too, because you're going to be more likely to give us a decent review, unless we did something really that wrong. And it's like, that's valid. I want to hear about it.
And they're more likely to come back too.
Yeah. Actually, it's not even cheating because it's staying in house. It's not like it's going to the public. So
true, but it could be. I see what you're saying. Their review could be a little bit less subjective. A little bit biased.
And they're more likely to. If they want to come back for a Half Price app, they probably had a okay experience, right? So they're more likely to fill it out, or they're more, people that are likely to fill it out are more likely to have had a good experience in the first place.
For sure, 100%.
Because if I hated it, I don't care about a Half Price app because I'm not coming back.
You're coming back, exactly. Yeah. And then if you had someone in that 6 to 7 range where it's like they still enjoy themselves, but maybe we didn't get something right that time, unfortunately, you're like, with that Half Price app, you're like, all right, let's go back for a margarita and we'll get that Half Price app and we'll see what they're really about.
Right.
So it's kind of like a way to hopefully someone that's borderline. We don't get many borderline people though, Mike, solid home runs.
Solid home runs.
It's like Ken Griffey Jr.
That when you were talking about where to put it, I asked you how many people actually fill that out, and maybe I could put it by the hostess stand or something. It made me think of this. I just drove to Florida and back, and we went to we stopped at Love's, which is like a gas station. A pretty big gas station, along there's a bunch of them along 95.
Is it a truck stop too?
It's like a big truck stop type place, but I mean, it's not just a truck stop, but it has accommodations for truckers.
Do they have showers?
Yes. So this is what made me think of that. You know what I'm trying to say. Those words were not correct, but I didn't put them in the right order.
It's early.
In the bathrooms, on your way out, right on the wall, it has these little buttons that's like a smiley face, a straight face, or a frowny face. And it's like, how was your bathroom experience? Basically, how clean are our bathrooms? And the first one we stopped at, the bathrooms were even if I didn't see that thing, my son and I were like, wow, this bathroom is amazing for like a gas station. You know what I mean? And then on the way out, we were like, oh, look at that. And it was like, oh, cool. So it just like really, it was this very, I don't know, like proprietary thing, you know, on the wall with like a tactile button, and it was kind of like fun to push it. So they also had, this was really cool and has no relevance to our story, but instead of regular window washer things by the gas pumps that were like this long, they had the long handled ones that were like for truckers, you know, but you can really get some good leverage when you're cleaning your windshield.
Felt like I should be paying for this. Right.
I should pay an extra 50 cents for this. So those two things, I was like, all right, man, we're just going to stop at Love's, you know, no other places unless we're eating, but for gas and bathroom, we stopped at Love's. And every one of them had the little thing on the wall. Some of them were a little bit better than others.
Does the button stay in like when you push it, or is it like digitally calculating behind the scenes?
I'm assuming it like,
or like once you press it from like green to red, like does it stay red?
I think it just, I assume, I don't know, but it probably had some kind of tally thing, you know. It's
fucking tases someone in the back.
They
gave you a red. Go clean the bathroom.
Everybody, it shocks it. They have a little shock collar on them if you hit red. No, I'm assuming it just keeps a tally, or maybe it does absolutely nothing. I don't know, but I thought it was kind of
cool.
Thinking about like how do you get more people to participate in something like even scanning a QR code is pretty easy to do.
Yeah.
But I will admit, if I'm in a restaurant and somebody brings me the check and then they bring me the receipts, and in those like 5 receipts that they bring you, on one of them there's a QR code for a Google review, I'm not doing it.
No, I
not unless it was like, this was awesome and I really am like feeling great about how great my experience was, then I would probably do it. But if it was going to be like between like a 5 and an 8, or even a 9, I'd probably be like, whatever.
I think everyone was like QR coded out after COVID, because it was like, your menu was QR code. You weren't supposed to touch anyone, so to wave at them, you had to scan a QR code. Like all sorts of QR codes going on.
I mean, there's some things where, to me, QR codes are awesome. Like when you're trying to like log into YouTube on a different device, and it's just, I don't have to type it in. I just scan the QR code. Heck yeah, I'm gonna do that. But like a menu, I would rather look at a physical menu
100%.
than look at it on my teeny phone. We were talking about QR codes in Rory's episode. I was listening to it on the way here, and like how you stole my tip sign. And I was talking to that marketing lady because I had like 7 QR codes on my tip sign. Like 2 of them were tips. Like one was Venmo, one was
PayPal or something.
What's the other one? Cash App.
Cash App.
And then I had like a Facebook QR code and a Instagram QR code and a TikTok QR code. And she was like, get rid of all those, you know, they'll find you if they want to find you on social media, they'll just find you.
Right.
You know, but keep the 2 big tip QR codes and just get rid of the other ones. I mean,
there are some helpful
good
ones.
advice.
And do your servers use this, or are they all up here, or how's it? Like, I could see the benefit if I put it in here. Now it's at the kitchen already.
Yep.
But there's like a thing in between us now. Like,
so we when we opened, Tyler and I were kind of like didn't know how to navigate that. So some people would go classic, some people would do the tablets at the table. Now, and for a good while now, I don't want the tablets at the table. You lose some of that intimacy.
Yeah.
Like even like we were talking about, it's like the difference between a spiel and not having a spiel. Just dropping the menu off and talking to him. It's like, sure, it's convenient, gets the food back faster, blah, blah, blah. But then if you're just sitting there the whole time while you guys are reading orders off, it's almost like you're back at Starbucks. You're like with an order taker.
Applebee's.
Yeah, exactly. So, but those things do come in handy for like late night bartending and stuff. When you only have one computer behind the bar, you can do scanning it in. But so we're doing it classic. I do have one guy, Dean, who's pretty much like the GM right now of Tiger Lily. That dude is fascinating. He'll have like a 10. I'm pretty good at doing this, but he'll have like a 10 or a 12 top and just keep it all up here with like modifications to the order.
Yeah, that's
and
wild.
have like no problems whatsoever. So
crazy.
yeah, he's a wild man.
That's a talent, man. Really
is that something? Is he just a really smart guy, or do you think he developed that or from doing it so much?
Both. He is a smart guy, but I
yeah.
think it's definitely like he's picked it up through his hospitality career.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. And how do you? I seem to remember something about you having a business coach.
Business coach.
To stay kind of inspired.
Oh, yeah.
And like
Yeah.
you know,
Dave Nitzel, he's out of Atlanta. Super cool guy. He's worked with like a lot of like Fortune 500 companies like way bigger and outside of hospitality. And I met him through another mentor, Sean Finter, out in Annapolis. Shout out both of those guys. We went on a trip to Mexico last year just for fun. There was some people that were in the industry and some people that weren't. But Sean gathered this whole group of people up. We went down to Mexico, and for some reason, me and this guy Dave like kind of clicked the whole trip. We were just laughing. He's not like super old guy, but he's much older than me. So, you know, with the age gap, we still had this great time together. We're bonding, and then he had to hit me up when we got back, and he was like, "Hey, just so you know, like that trip wasn't a pitch or anything, but we obviously clicked, and you've told me what you want to do. Is like, would you be interested in me helping you out?" And I was like, well, how much does it cost? It's expensive, but man, I've learned a ton, and he's also saved me money. We talked about it before, like having this business coach and this expense, it is costly, but it's also saved me money. We had this whole approach where we're going to like focus on like a branding or merch sales, like for like a hot sauce, for example, or like hats and stuff, which the hats and clothing, like you can tie that in pretty easily and still benefit from that. Yeah. But like hot sauce, for example, or doing like a canned seltzer, it's like you're entering a whole new territory of business. And the original meeting I had when I sat down with him, he was like, what's your end goal, or what would you like to do in the next 5 to 10 years? And I told him, have at least 3 restaurant concepts. And he's like, okay. So then when I brought this idea up to him, and it's like 3 months later from our original meeting, I'm like, oh yeah, I just met with this guy and I'm talking about, he said, what are you talking about? I was like, don't you think this is a great idea? He's like, what'd you tell me in our first meeting? And I was like, I want the concepts. He's like, so why are we talking about hot sauces? And he was like nice about it, but he's like, I just probably saved you, tens of thousands of dollars, because when you get into that market,
yeah, you're competing with everyone.
Yeah, you're competing with all the big dogs, and you got to get your stickers, your bottles, your tops, and that's a whole nother beast that I didn't even consider. But
yeah, and you're on this. You're doing this national or international thing when your restaurant's this local thing, and you're sort of at odds with like, trying to like, why do I want to buy Tiger Lily hot sauce if I live in Milwaukee?
Yeah. I mean, I could see how
you open up to competition. You're 100% right. Yeah. Rather than being in the small market, now you're like at an international level.
Yeah. Right.
Fighting Tabasco.
How many types of hot sauces out there? Like millions. I mean, I could see how it could potentially, but it's probably a very small percentage that like you're gonna, outsell Buffalo Wild Wings, hot sauce or whatever.
Buffalo and barbecue. Yeah, so things like that, it's definitely helped me with. And then even narrowing down, like learning more and more about the business, how to look at a P&L sheet, how to hire properly. He was the one that helped me like conceptualize the hiring ad. I sent him a couple just to bounce off of him. He didn't even like tell me to do it. He's like, nope. He's like, you need to talk to your audience. So I was like getting a little frustrated. And then like the one I came up with, I was like, I'm just firing off. He's giving me enough critique. This is awesome. And like, I posted it, an hour had gone by, and I saw he like put the little heart emoji on it on Facebook. I was like, so he finally approves of this.
Your stamp of approval. Yeah.
Or my other favorite one, he's always talking about social media, hospitality guys, especially on the social media side. We like to show off like a finished product. So like a beautiful burger or a cocktail with like nothing else going on. He's like, talk to your customer. Tell me what it's going to be like. On a Viagra commercial, they don't show you the dirty deed going down, talking about, I'm rocked up. No, it's like people holding hands in a field, and it's like they're having fun and smiling. It's like, show me the after the fact. Show me the smiling faces on the patio, cheers in the drinks that are already made perfectly, things like that. So, which is very hard to do, to be honest.
You could get like you could get a group of people to sit at the table, and like guys like unbutton their belts and all the like crumbs are on the plate and they're like,
belly busting good.
Looking at the bill like, what?
yeah, exactly, right.
You want me to tip again?
Here's the aftermath.
So what did you figure out a way to do that? To show that?
What free advice can you give us
Like
from
to
your...
show the not the finished product, but the
it's like basically what he's talking about too is like you're selling like the emotion, the experience, right?
100%,
like not the actual product. Like how does it make you feel?
And the reason I said it so hard, I think, especially in my situation, it's like, which I'm getting better at, but I'm wearing like too many hats.
Yeah.
So like to go around during service, it's pretty difficult for me because I'm just doing too many things, but I have been doing better at it. I think one of our most recent posts, it's like 2 people on the patio enjoying their brunch with like big smiles rather than just like a plate getting dropped off or a picture of the plate before it goes out. And the one that I really love because it's easier to do behind the scenes, but still kind of like present that idea is like the chef's midway through making the dish rather than it being like completely done in a little corner lit up perfectly. That's
interesting advice, and like I totally understand that, and I've heard that before too. But then, as you're talking about it, I'm thinking about like some of those photos that you post of, a beautiful taco spread or something, or a burger with like these caramelized onions on it and stuff. And I mean, part of me is because I'm a photographer, like I'm not just looking at the whole photo and like I'm appreciating it. But at the same time, I mean, that's what McDonald's does. They show you they have other
They're adjusting a little bit, but
yeah, they do both.
I feel the same way. I'm like 70% in agreement with him, but like you 30, and especially with the photography like background, you're like, oh shit, look at the lighting, like that's.
But it looks really good. He was probably
shooting that in 2.4. It's crispy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. No, but I mean, it makes you want to go there too. If you just see like a really nice looking plate and you're like, wow, that food looks really good. Like next time you're thinking about going out to eat, you might remember that photo.
Yep. And that's why I agree, and everyone thinks different, obviously. Like some people just want to see a juicy burger or a nice margarita. So,
but it is interesting too. I totally understand like selling the feeling, and I agree with that, right? Because that really good burger that you eat sitting out at a nice patio with a server who's being friendly in this place that has a cool vibe, all of that comes together as the experience, right? And that really is what you're paying for.
And plays into the branding as well.
It does, yeah.
He's all about building a brand. Like, so it's Tiger, it's a restaurant bar. It's like, but you're building a whole brand. You're building a culture. So how do you facilitate it? Yeah. And showing that, so.
Does he ever just tell you, or does he just ask you does he encourage you to come up with this stuff on your own and gives you direction?
When it comes down to like finance and stuff like that, he's definitely told me. Not like you're wrong, slap me through Skype or something. But no, as far as like the hospitality ideas, it's definitely more open ended. He'll give me some ideas or some businesses to check out across the country. Because he's got some really cool deals. He works with all these like huge liquor umbrella companies like Diageo, which is like an umbrella company of like Don Julio Casamigos. So he's working with some of these top dogs. So he does have some good reference points for me. And yeah. And he's not necessarily working for them. He's like contracted out. So he can give me perspective rather than just being like, oh, this is the holy grail. You got to check this out, because he's getting paid by them. So,
So tell us about one of your other restaurant concepts. I'm thinking of one in particular that really struck my fancy. But
yeah, I think the Tequila Cowboy. I don't know if we're ready for it quite yet, but that's definitely within the 3. So
that's a cool idea.
Yeah. So we've been conceptualizing this whole thing about like Tequila Cowboy, kind of like bourbon tequila bar. We have this whole pitch. It's like wear a hat, get a free app. So the whole idea is like you get the whole dining room filled up with a bunch of cowboys and cowgirls, and maybe selling some like higher end cowboy hats like on the merch wall, paying to the vibe.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, a little cheesy. There's going to be some sort of cheesy but awesome place to like pose for a photo, whether it's like 2 saddles with you and your buddies or something like a little bit more manly. But Tequila Cowboys, for some reason, sticking with me.
Too bad you can't have like sawdust all over the floor or something like that.
I've seen it
Can't
done
you?
before.
Isn't that like against code? Or
No,
something?
but every
Oh, you
time
can
I've
do
seen
that?
a restaurant do it, they like end up taking it away like a year or two later. It's probably got to be a
Oh,
mess.
really?
Just something, yeah.
Yeah.
Just too messy.
There was a place, the barbecue joint, which is now Rude Barbecue in Easton. They used to have it was like smoking chips all over the ground.
Oh, really?
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
But yeah, Tequila Cowboy I think would be awesome.
Yeah, I like that idea. It's a good one. You got anything else, Joe?
Where are you is this gonna be local?
This would be closer to this area, like Stevensville or across the bridge, like outskirts of Annapolis or something.
Oh, okay.
Because I think I would need a little bigger audience to pull something off like that.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit closer to the city, if you will.
It'd probably do well on Kent Island.
Kent Island would be awesome. I think that'd be, if I found the right spot for it.
Yeah.
You think maybe there's no way to know this, but like your clientele, is it a lot of like Easton's a pretty touristy town? Is it like a lot of tourism, or is it like regulars, or kind of combo?
Yeah, we capitalize big time on travel. Like we definitely have regulars and locals that come in all the time, but I've noticed again in that spiel or throughout the experience, like I could probably tell you 4 different things about like each customer, and I'm not just making that up. So I always like finding out where they're from or why they're in town, rather than just be like, well, how'd you find us? I'll be like, what are you guys doing in town? What's going on? And they'll be like, oh, we're here for this wedding and we saw you guys popped up right away, or it looked like your food was the freshest, whatever, because we take pride in that, like fresh as much as possible. So I think maybe me being from Annapolis and traveling all over the world and stuff, like relates to these people that are out and about. I would say you guys being from the Eastern Shore, right? Like,
Yeah.
some of us don't get out as much as others, so and there's nothing wrong with that. But
We're very close-minded. We only eat
I could tell.
I've been all over the world.
grilled cheeses with American cheese.
Or I should say like
White
North America.
bread.
I haven't been all over the world, but you know what I'm saying. Carmen Sandiego.
All right.
So maybe like our menu speaks to them in that fashion, whereas like a lot of the other restaurants in town have comfort food or stuff that's like really well known on the Eastern Shore. Not that we don't, but we are the most creative or out there menu, I could say, other than like a few other spots. But
Yeah.
few, like,
Which can be refreshing to people when they're like trying to find something a little more interesting.
for sure. Which I think translates into a problem into the slower season though,
Yeah.
because the locals, they
Locals don't want that shit.
they like what they like,
But I mean, you have a awesome smash burger.
Yeah, the burgers,
I mean,
it's the best in town.
yeah. I mean, dude, it definitely is. It's a good smash
There's
burger.
some close ones, but
You mentioned like people find you on Google. What do you know about like SEO and Google ranking and that kind of thing? And like, how well do you have that set up?
not well at all. I was actually just learning about that about like a week and a half ago. I was messing around with some ChatGPT stuff just to see how well it would do with writing web pages, because I've been using it since it's like came out, but just in the last like 2 updates, it's creating some really crazy stuff. So I was just curious, doing some coding through it and plugging it into my hosting website, and it was fascinating. But I am not familiar at all with the SEO. I get the idea, like the trigger words that'll pull up in the searches and stuff like that. But I need some help with that for sure.
Well, I mean, it's obviously, you just mentioned that like people Googled you and found you.
Yeah.
So something is working.
A lot of, and that's been the benefit of, before we opened, we got like a lot of interviews through newspapers and stuff, and like some performances, like it'll pop up in the Google search. So it's not necessarily like always bringing them to our website, like the first couple for sure. But there have been other people that probably have a better understanding of how that works that helps that pop up as well.
How many Google reviews do you have? Do you know?
I think we got like close to 300 or 400.
Okay.
Yeah.
That helps a lot,
Yeah.
from my understanding.
That is so irritating though for me.
What do you
like we
mean?
just got last Sunday, it was terrible weather and we were closing early anyway because Monday was Cinco de Mayo. So we would normally stay up until 8 o'clock on a Sunday. However, we were closing at 3. We made sure there's no reservations, put a sign on the door hours in advance, right? And I'm like kind of thinking, we haven't done this in a while. I'm kind of having a bad feeling about it, but whatever. I'm done wasting my money. Day's over. Cinco de Mayo is tomorrow. Let's go rest.
Right.
So I wake up the next morning. I like check my Google, and of course it's like new review. And I was like all excited because look, I don't pay too much attention to it, but I get the alerts in my email, and like consistently the last like 3 months, it's like 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars. I see 1 star and I'm like, oh, what the hell could this be about? What did we do wrong? And it was like not open on Sundays, and they gave me 1 star. So I was like, not only, I get it, you're frustrated. Maybe you came from somewhere. I looked it up. It looks like she came from Federalsburg, my bad. But not that far. There's other great restaurants in town.
It's a bit of a drive, but not
but
terrible.
it's like you didn't make the reservation. There's a sign on the door. Obviously, we're open on Sundays. And then you went out of your way to give a 1-star review to a small business that you didn't even get to experience. I understand you're frustrated, but it's like it makes or breaks some people.
Did you respond?
Really drinks
I haven't responded yet.
the average down too, I'm sure.
Right.
Like a 1-star can really
Offset the 5 that you just got for the last 3 months.
If you get like 1-star reviews, does that make it less likely to come up in a Google search when someone searches for like restaurants near me?
Not necessarily, unless it like drops your score to a point where it's like if you type in like best food and then Google pulls up, you know, its collection, you can hit more results. Like I guess it like pushes you further down the line. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've had pretty decent luck with Google searches, and I like the keyword thing I haven't really focused on a whole lot, and I am no expert. Like I just did a little bit of research early on, and it confused the hell out of me. So, but there were like a couple things where like, okay, I understand that, so let me do that.
Right.
And the one thing that I have really tried to do are backlinks.
Okay.
So like when I made Mike's website, I made sure to put in the footer website created by Image and Sound Media, and then backlinked it. When I did videos for Mike and put them on YouTube, I would somewhere in the description put like
that in
created
there.
By Image and Sound Media, and that's a backlink. And that kind of
the more
thing.
type, the better is what I'm figuring out. Like I need more type on my actual website, whether it's explaining our event space or things like that. So like there's more words for it to get triggered too.
Oh, okay.
That's what I've been learning a little bit. I don't know how true that is, but like pictures and like quick, simple website is cool, but you don't want it to be like too simple because then you're like selling yourself short in some sense. So
yeah, that's a good point, right? Just more text for it to grab a hold of.
Yep.
That's interesting.
Or repeating like margarita multiple times throughout the website. So it's like you type in Easton margarita, it's going to bring you right to Tiger Lily Easton because you drop the word margarita and patio 15 times.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting. Well, I'll tell you what, we should all help each other out. I mean, Mike and I have given each other Google reviews, I think. I don't think I've given Tiger Lily one. I'll be sure to do that,
I'll hit you guys up.
Appreciate that.
I've never been to Tiger Lily.
You got to come.
I'm going to come.
We're going to book you this year too. Let's talk some dates.
All right, don't book Joe. I'm not playing there if you book Joe though.
All right. I haven't talked to him yet.
You can't book Joe.
And if you're watching or listening to this podcast and you notice that Mike gives a Google review to Tiger Lily before he actually goes, make sure to call him out on that.
It's fake.
How would they know that?
Yeah,
I'm going to give him one on his music website. I'm going to like learn to play the guitar in 2 lessons. 2 thumbs up.
I've never heard Mike play before, but he's amazing.
I need to get my website fixed. My Cadell Academy of Music website is not functioning right now.
Yeah.
It goes to some golf tournament thing. It's a mess. But yeah, it's because of the guy. It's a long story. Anyway.
Yeah.
But my Mike Waskey music website is strong. So
yeah.
Is that the one you did?
I did that one, yes.
Yeah.
It's a good looking website if I don't say so
good.
myself.
I like
yeah.
it,
I liked it too.
It could use like more pictures of me probably. Just kidding. There's
lavish hair.
There's a lot of pictures.
Well, you know
of me.
what? You mentioned about like more text. One thing I have done with my own website over the course of time are like added pages to it. You know what I mean? Like I've done for the like Mike has his own page on my website where it's like you click on like you're on like the homepage and then there's a section that says like music videos and you click on that and it takes you to another page where it has a list of the different artists that I've done music videos for.
Oh, that's awesome.
Mike is listed. If you click on Mike, it'll take you to Mike Waskey's page where it has all the videos that I've done for him.
That's awesome.
And I mean, I only have like 30 Google reviews, which I'm pretty damn proud of actually, because 30 is kind of a lot in the short amount of time I've been, working for myself.
And you don't have hundreds of customers a day.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Right.
Is that for image and sound, or is that?
Yeah, for image and sound.
I can actually give you a legit review because we work together.
Yeah, I appreciate
I can
that.
say how
man.
professional it was, how much I learned.
Heck yeah, man. Dude, that
It wasn't
awesome.
too loud.
Wasn't too loud.
Finally.
It was a moderate volume the entire time.
How'd that video turn out, by the way? Side note.
Which one?
The wedding-
the
the
wedding.
wedding we shot
Dude,
together.
I haven't shown it to you.
I don't think so.
Man, I got to show it to you. Yeah, it turned out really good.
Cool.
That editing company did an awesome job with it. Oh no, actually, you helped me with
like
the
the
other
fr-
one.
yeah, the
that one came out really good too. I mean, we
Southern
both
Maryland
got a lot
one.
of good footage. I edited it myself. Dude, I actually did like a highlight reel, like 5 minutes, and then I edited a full length. It's over an hour long.
You were telling me you were gonna do that. You're insane.
Yeah, it was. It took a lot of time. I wish
Patience.
I had that editing company at that time, but I did get it finished. Jackie, who I mainly dealt with, was she was like the best bride to deal with. Like
Yeah.
she was so understanding, and she was over the moon with it when I finally finished it. And yeah, it came out really good, dude. We both having two angles like during the ceremony was awesome to have. But yeah, I don't know. I was see, when you get cut off, you remember what you were talking about before. I totally lost track
I've done it twice this
of what I was saying. What was I talking about a minute ago, Mike?
I don't know. It's probably something.
Yeah, something.
Oh, like backlinking or something?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, but I was just trying to say that like I've had a few people find me on Google, like they just typed in like photographer near Centerville, Maryland, or whatever.
Right.
And there are other photographers near Centerville, Maryland,
a
that
lot.
have been doing it a lot longer than I have. And so when I hear that, I'm like, hell yeah, man, something's going right. And I was really just attributing it to, having 30 Google reviews, which is not that much, and the backlinks that I have. But it could also be because I have been building out the website over time. There's probably like, I don't know, maybe 10 or different pages on my website.
Yeah.
So
Updating your website has a lot to do with it. Like if you just pop it up and don't ever update it, Google forgets about it. If the more you're on there changing stuff, the more.
Yeah. And I put backlinks on my website too. Like Mike's website is backlinked on mine, and so is Gage Rhodes, and so is Jason Morton and the other artists that I've done work for.
All solid artists too.
Yeah. Oh man, it's been great working with all those guys. But having those links to here, and then other places having links to my website. I don't know a whole lot about SEO, but I'm pretty positive that that's good and
It's
that's
working.
helpful. Yeah,
It's working.
Yeah. I mean, I could have even more people find me on Google. That would be awesome. But I got an inquiry 2 days ago. This is pretty interesting.
Free gravy grand piano.
Free baby grand piano. I got a lot of those.
I get them every day.
Yeah, this lady giving away her grand piano. No, the Cal Ripken Senior Association or Foundation or something like that. My son goes to Kennard Elementary School in Centerville, and somebody from the Cal Ripken Senior Association or Foundation or whatever it's called reached out to me and said that they are like collaborating with Kennard for the field day.
Okay.
Yeah, and they need a photographer.
Boom.
And I didn't ask them, but I'm like, there's no other way that they would have found me other than just Googling photographer near Centerville, Maryland.
Yeah.
I probably should verify that, but so I was like, well, that's cool.
Maybe they saw those ones you took, those smoke
The portraits.
Those
Yeah.
are good.
Oh yeah, those ones.
Yeah, they were cool. Thanks.
Real.
It could be. I mean, they could have just like maybe asked somebody at Kennard, and somebody at Kennard knew
Recommend
me or
it.
whatever. That could
It'd be cool to find out though.
Yeah,
It would be cool. Yeah. I'll be really bummed if it wasn't Google.
I'm fucking it up.
Yeah, shit.
Stop telling people about me. Let them find me on Google. Stop yawning, Mike.
I'm not yawning.
He didn't yawn.
Did I yawn?
I didn't see anything.
Cut away from me during that. Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna zoom right in on your mouth hole.
I've been losing sleep lately over. our relationship.
Oh yeah, you told me. Mike told me he's been losing sleep over how much time I've been putting into the podcast. Oh, here's something I haven't mentioned yet. I mean, I told Mike, but I haven't mentioned it on the podcast. Just yesterday, I got. We have an official RSS feed for the podcast now, so we are on Apple Podcasts, like iHeartRadio and Pandora and
Stitcher.
There's like 5 other
Spotify.
ones. Not Spotify yet. Spotify's a pain in the ass.
That's an open wound. You're just rubbing salt into it.
Yeah, but we're on like 5 or 6 or maybe even 7 different like platforms now. So yeah,
I'll be able to listen to this episode in the car then.
You will, and not only will people find you through Google, but there are going to be people in Minnesota that are going to listen to this, and they're going to drive to Easton to go to Tiger Lily.
That's it.
Have that smash burger and the.
I forget. Did you say you guys do catering? Yes.
We're just like getting into it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I thought so.
That's also another for fall and winter. That's a little on the back burner. Burner plan.
Okay.
To like fully dive into it.
What does your business coach think about that?
I don't know if I've brought it up to him, but I think he's gonna like that.
He's not gonna shoot that one down.
Nah, because it's additional revenue with like low overhead costs, and it's the margins on it get much better. Because when guests come through the door, it's like it's more hands on. You know, if you're just packaging things up, bringing them on site, or just leaving them there and coming to get it, you know, you're not paying the server, the bartender, X, Y, and Z.
That's probably the least overhead, like just preparing it and having the person just come and pick it up.
That's why catering operations, you always hear, I mean, growing up, I remember friends being like, oh yeah, my parents do this catering business and this and that. And it's like making good money.
Just thinking out loud here. What about like renting your kitchen out to because a food truck has to have a commercial grade kitchen to cook in. So like, since you're not open on Sundays, no, I'm just kidding. No, but like at night, like letting
you close
people
at
come
3
in,
o'clock
like renting your kitchen
Sunday
out at night. I guess that'd be, I don't know. Then you got to make sure it's clean there. I don't know. That could be a little hairy.
We've had, I've had 2 different people. So I had a buddy of mine in Cambridge who actually does hot sauces, shark sauce. He wanted to use my facility for that same thing, and I was like, man, it would be too hard because we already have a small kitchen, and there's like I wasn't worried about trusting with him, but like you said, making sure things go back the way they are, because then that's like another thing that'll just add to the stress of your kitchen staff. Yeah. And then more recently, I've had someone who has a food truck or is getting it ready, asking about it. But now like we're so busy and like ramping up and focused on the future, like no more no more side quests.
Yeah, it's probably not enough money to make it worth it, I would think.
No,
it's just, it'd be more how much could you really charge to make that worth your while?
Like a favor.
Yeah. And you do food. I seem to remember something about a food truck or the potential of a food truck.
Yeah, we were talking about the potential of the food truck, which we would kind of like include into the catering operation.
Okay.
So we pull up at your wedding or whatever in the food truck, and we may offer like cocktails and mocktails at that point too. So you got bar and food. And then when we are not doing an event or catering, you know, we'd have the food truck parked out front. So then for like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, late night after the kitchen closed, if we're having a wedding venue or wedding party show up, or, you know, just regular bar patrons that want a bite to eat, but the kitchen's closed, you can go out to the food truck and we'll have like 5 to 6 select items for sale out there too.
Yeah. Park out front of
Tiger Lily.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or what about like, I don't know how late the shows are at the Avalon Theater, but like parking outside of the Avalon Theater for like when the show's let out there or something, that might be
that wouldn't be a bad idea at all.
I don't know how late they go. If it's like, if everything's still open, it might not be a hit.
No, I think it's usually a little bit later. So
yeah,
you would need a permit for that, wouldn't you?
Probably. Yeah. I know there's some weird
schmermit.
There's beg for forgiveness. There's some like weird permitting rules about food trucks in Talbot County, I'm pretty sure, but
Talbot County is just weird in general.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Bunch of stuck-up rich people.
God, that's gonna be on Easton happenings now, man.
Won't listen to music after 10 p.m. Too loud. Trying to eat my taco.
We're not even around any residential area.
I know, man.
There's like a whole conspiracy about that sound ordinance thing. Yeah.
How much like do you deal with like the health department coming in and stuff? That like, do they come in and like look around all the time and stuff? Is that like once a year? What is
it? They'll come in about twice a year.
Unannounced.
Unannounced. And it's always fun.
Do you know that? Is it like a dude in a uniform, or is it like a secret shopper thing, or what is it like?
it's kind of like secret shopper when they come through the door, but now I've been doing it long enough, like I recognized it. I like
Bill.
Yeah.
You're like, hi,
That wig ain't working for you.
I think it was Sue. Sue is the lady's name, but she just recently retired. And you know, or no, it was Gail. It was Gail. You could see her coming from a mile away.
Gail sounds like a food inspector's name.
Yeah, she was a tough. She was a tough one. Nice lady, but God, she didn't let anything slide.
No.
And it would be like stuff that doesn't even necessarily matter, but she's just doing her job, I guess. But we've had no dings by the food. Luckily, we do run a tight ship back there. You know, of course, like weekly cleaning tasks and stuff. Just being on them about that, but they'll just come in and kind of like quiz your staff and make sure they know like the proper heating and cooling and reheating things. And if you do get hit on something small, it's like, hey, we're going to be back in a week. Make sure you get that fixed. Or you didn't have the HACCP plan accessible to an employee, which is just like a general SOP of how the whole kitchen operates, but just like written out. So they want that like in a binder, accessible. So
Interesting. So, we're running pretty long, but I mean, it's been a great conversation.
It was fluid.
It was very fluid. That was a good description.
I like that.
I think the first conversation was good, but I think this was even better.
I think I'm more awake this time. Which I don't know how, but
I don't remember what you wore last time, but I love that shirt. So
thank you.
You know,
It was similar because I remember thinking festive.
I also feel like your mustache is even tighter today than it was last time.
I hit it last night for you guys.
Yeah, it looks perfect. But so I guess to wrap it up, like over your entire journey, you know, from, you told us a story of like where you started and where you are now. You've got the business coach. Between the business coach and just things that you've learned firsthand, like what pieces of advice would you give to someone who is, I mean, you could answer the question in terms of like the restaurant business or just like working for themselves in general, but like what are some kind of entrepreneur tidbits of advice that you have learned over your journey?
I would say and this goes for a restaurant or anything you're doing in life, if you truly believe in something and you're rooted in it, don't let anyone pull you away from that. Even when it gets hard. I mean, these have been the most rewarding 3.5 years of my life, but it's also been like some of the most difficult, emotionally, physically, mentally challenging times of my life too. Yeah. And there's been times where I'm like, man, maybe I'll hang it up and go work at PetSmart selling gerbil food. But like, you just keep trucking along, man. And then like right when you thought it was going to be game over or really bad, things start, you see that light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
And so I'd say stay true to yourself, your vision and your goals, as corny as it sounds, but truly.
That's awesome. I mean, when you were telling the story, like it sounded to me like one of the most driving factors, I guess, was just like the drive that you had, you know, to keep moving forward. I'm not saying that correctly.
100%. Yeah. I love playing with food and drinks, but at the end of the day, I think you're right. There was something bigger going on in a sense.
How about like specifically from your business coach? Like what are some things that your business coach taught you or showed you that you just never would have thought of that were helpful?
The finances, like having the information in front of you and making sure it's good information. Like I was operating for 2 years. I can't even believe I'm saying this. I was operating like 2.5 years with no P&L sheets, no gauge of where I was, if I was doing well or not. You know, of course we would monitor it by dollars in the bank account,
right?
But there's no real deciding factor other than my emotions if things were going well right. or not, which is very dangerous territory. So having numbers in front of you and making sure they're correct as well, because there's accounting firms and stuff that'll kind of like drop. There's so much going on in restaurants, they'll slack off in one area, and you know, you might think you're down 3 or 4 points or percentage or whatever, but you're actually, you know, you're breaking even or you're up 1%. So the good information, and then at the end of the day, building a brand like that's the most important thing. Having people feel like they're welcoming in whatever you do. Sure, it's a restaurant and bar, but there's more feeling attached to that when you're sitting in the seat or sharing that cocktail with your friends. It's a little bit bigger. So I'd say culture and good information.
Yeah, man, those are great pieces of advice. I will admit that I have never looked at a P&L sheet either. I've been in business for like about 2 years now. Yeah. Almost 2 years, I guess. but I'm just starting. Like, I just got an accountant.
Yeah.
And dude, she is like on my ass.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's great. Like, I told her, I was like, please continue to be on my ass like that, because I am not going to do it myself. But man, she bombarded me with emails, and I'm, what is this? What is that? What is that? And I need you to do this. I need you to, and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And I'll put it off, but I'm so glad that like I did get that ball rolling, because you're right. Like, oh yeah, things are going great, but like I got money in my bank account.
You're like,
but you're not looking at the whole picture, and the actual numbers could tell a completely different story.
The beginning is like the worst part of setting it up with an accountant, especially if you've been operating without it for so long, because they'll bombard you. What's this? What's this? What kind of supplies is this? And then I'm pretty sure my people aren't too happy with me right now. I'm running a little behind on my my end of month data for them, so. They'll be okay.
I've got one of the worst things is like
May 9th right now. So
yeah, I'm a little behind.
Oh, at the end of the month, yeah.
For April, yeah. I mean, it's like 3 days of it's not a big deal, but I saw an email on there this morning on my way here, so I'm like, oh yeah, they're waiting for a reply or for me to finish something. So,
right.
But
yeah, dude, I've got some of the, like, she'll ask me, you know, what's this expense? Is it what do they call it? Is it supplies?
Yeah, general supplies or
whatever.
Labor cost or equipment.
The thing where I really screwed myself is like sometimes I'll use like Afterpay or Klarna, you know, one of the pay in 4 things to like make a big purchase, and then I'll use a credit card to pay that. And then I'll pay the credit card, you know, so it's like debit. 4 different levels, and then I got to figure out, okay, all the way back to my business bank account, what is this, you know, $57.18 payment for? And then I got to go all the way back through and figure out what it is.
And what month did I pay that $57? That's even more fun.
Yeah. Luckily, those apps do keep track of it, so like it's not that difficult to figure it out, but you still have to like spend the time to sit down and
fun stuff.
Yeah, but you know, when I finally look at, you know, books that are right, you know what I mean, and I can see it and know like, okay, everything is accounted for. I haven't been able to do that yet because I haven't given her all the information, but that should be a good feeling, I would think.
If you want, it's a great feeling. It's a little intimidating first, and if you want to have fun, plug your P&L into ChatGPT and tell it to like give you its thoughts as well. That's always fun. That's interesting. What does it tell you? Depends what month I plug it in. All right. But it's pretty accurate. And then you got to ask it like another question or two, but it gets it's crazy. You were telling us before about using ChatGPT to like find rates, like somebody did some plumbing work for you or something. Plugging the invoice into ChatGPT. And telling it my location, the amount of time it took, and like giving it, what does it think about it? It'd be like, oh, for Easton, Maryland, and only being there for an hour and 15 minutes, like this is a pretty solid deal. The pipe work and the materials they used, and it'll like pull the schedule of piping and everything. It's wild, dude. Yeah. We were talking, you know, we always end up talking about ChatGPT, but we were talking about it before you got here. And like, it is amazing to me how helpful it can be sometimes, and then how fucking frustrating it can be other times, because I don't know if other people have these experiences, but sometimes it will tell me something and it's wrong. Really? And then I'll do what it tells me and I'm like, oh yeah, that didn't work. And then it'll be like, you're absolutely right, Joe. This is actually what you should do. And I'm like, why didn't you tell me that at first? You know, like, are you using it for like editing or computer processes? I'll use it. So for example, like, not to get too into the weeds, but I was having some issues with DaVinci Resolve, the video editing software. And I mean, it knows a lot. And there are lots of times where I mean, ChatGPT helped me figure out what went wrong with the audio. You know, it was like a troubleshooting thing, and it walked through all these different things, and we finally figured it out. But I asked it a question regarding DaVinci Resolve, and I sent it some screenshots. Like, okay, here's my settings. Right. And it was like, well, Joe, that box is clearly unchecked, so you need to check that box. And then I was like, I looked at the screenshot, the fucking box is checked. And I was like,
did you even look at the screenshot? Because it's clearly checked. And then it's like, you're absolutely right, Joe. I didn't look at it closely enough, and it is checked. And I'm like, why would you tell me that? Like, it's a screenshot. Look at it. That's why I sent it to you, so you can look at it. And like, that kind of stuff is baffling to me.
Yeah.
Like, it's supposed to be this super intelligent AI, but it looks over a screenshot.
It's the picture that you implemented, so it's not good with it's not great with creating or analyzing photos and videos right now.
Well, it told me, I asked it, I'm like, why'd you do that? And it said something like, sometimes I will compute things like really fast in an effort to like keep the ball rolling. And I'm like, because it wasn't that it couldn't read the screenshot.
Right. Just fucked up.
It just didn't do it.
Yeah.
It basically told me that it just glanced at it like super quickly. And I'm like, I want you to look at it so that you can tell me, if all the settings are right. And it's like, okay, I will. And then it did, but it just kind of blew my mind that, sometimes, bro, like, it is so helpful, but sometimes it's so infuriating.
100%. I deal with it every day.
Yeah. Anyway. All right, man. Thanks again for coming out, bro.
Appreciate
Thanks for having me here, homie.
Yep.
Appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Good to see you guys.
Austin Smale, Tiger Lily, Easton, Maryland. Check out their smash burgers, tacos. What was that other kind of taco?
Birria tacos. Yeah.
Yeah. Those are awesome.
Delicious.
Yep. All right, buddy. We'll see you again. Thank you.
Sir.
Bye, guys.